Well, this is the thing. We got to stop being consumed with his overall stats, because when you're a point guard, I mean, if he's going to ever reach the level of Magic Johnson, I mean, you have to be a force multiplier. You got to make people better. Now, what I like was in critical situation, he drives to the hole, doesn't take the shot, but what it does puts pressure on the defense, because even though he's the worst shooter in the league, guys' instincts are to collapse to the hole. He's the worst three-point shooter, right, Nick?
Yep.
They ran to the three-point line to defend him. Him driving to the hole sucks the defense in. He makes someone else better, an open three-pointer. Yes, it is a good stat, but it's not based on a stat. It's based on making his team better, making his teammates better, and learning how to win NBA games, because that's how you get confidence.
Quick follow-up. Won't defenses eventually figure it out? Why go to him? He's never going to hit from
But
there.
in pressure situations, all NBA players can shoot. So you're not going to leave a guy wide open, uncontested, because he's going to make it. Their instincts will take over, and they will run to the three-point line.
I agree with CC that in the waning moments, the instincts will take over. But what we have seen is exactly what you're discussing, which is in non-waning moments, the other parts of the game.
They go underneath the pick and roll.
And they just sag off him by 7-8 feet. So one of the reasons it's so important for LeBron to have shooters around him is not just because he can pass so well and get guys open threes, but if you have a shooter on the court, his defender has to stay close to him at the three-point line. That's one less body in the paint, so when LeBron drives, he doesn't have a lot of people to get around.
Right.
Yeah.
When Lonzo's out there, you have 5 guys guarding 4, essentially. So for Brandon Ingram to get to the bucket, for Kyle Kuzma to get to the bucket, there's more defenders in the paint. That's why he's been such a damaging offensive player.
Oh, okay.
Because there's just more guys sagging off. So the reality is, though, yes, that was a great final play by Lonzo. It was great. And it was the play before he took a questionable 3, so I'm glad he had a chance to make up for it. I'm confident in saying this. Lonzo's a better defender than I thought he would be. He's as good of a passer as I thought he would be, which is a very high level. I mean, he almost had a 5-by-5 game yesterday where it's at least 5 in every statistical category. If he can fix his shot, he'll be what we thought he was going to be. We just didn't know the shot was going to be this broken. Yesterday, yes, it was a step in the right direction, but they're all going to be baby steps until he stops being the worst shooter in basketball.
Cece, what was your reaction to LeVar pushing his kids to play overseas? Taking one out of college, one out of high school, and now sending them overseas to play ball in Europe somewhere.
As a parent, and in my sports, the way it was, I mean, sports has just been so good. And this plane's going to crash. It's just a matter of where it's going to crash and how many times he decides to take it back up and crash it again. I mean, he's a poor example of a father trying to live his life through his kids. Now, he thinks that he's a better developer of talent. Now, what he did with his own talent, nothing. All right? He was a nothing ball player, and that don't make you a bad dad. It just makes you were not a good college basketball player. Now, in his dreams, his career was better. So now he thinks that he is a coach and developer of talent. Well, I've watched many of his AAU games. I heard him mic'd up. He's not a good coach. So for him to think that the system that we have in place in America, where kids go to high school, the best kids are recognized, they go to Division I. In Division I basketball, we have our second best coaches. They coach the kids. If the kids are good enough, they go to the pros where we have our best coaches and the best players play. So he's going to take them out of that system that has worked for almost 100 years of developing our best athletes and take his kids abroad. Well, so he's taken away my high school experience. So I can't go to the prom. I'm not going to find out what it's like to maybe have a girlfriend or, man, after the game, go to McDonald's with my buddies and horse off and get a sundae. I'm going to take that from him. The other kid, he's taking away his college education. I mean, being at UCLA the short period, he's already taken him abroad. Well, no one told him to steal nothing when he was abroad, but that's part of your education as a human being. So now, as a dad, we're supposed to be adding these things to our kids' life. He's taken things away from his kids that I don't think are replaceable. I would never give up my high school days of playing with Dwight and Jimmy and my boy Toogie and going to Frisch's afterwards and having a pass and putting all our money and trying to say, hey, man, this is what we're going to be able to get tonight, and getting gas money, how we was going to get to the gym, all those things, and then going to Ohio State and all the lessons that those things taught me as a young man. I would never substitute any of those. So now his overall experience, he's going to take these away from the kids. So for me, he is robbing these kids of a potential, a balanced life.
Nick, can I just ask you this? Doesn't it feel like he stopped letting them live their lives, that he's living vicariously through them? At some point, he's like, it becomes about him.
Definitely. I don't know why I'm reacting the way I am. I'm like shockingly emotional right now. I knew that we were talking about this.
Nick, you know, because from the beginning, Nick, you were one of the people been like, man, this guy's a good dad.
Yeah, you said that.
Man, to get 3 scholarships, like, yeah.
But you were right.
But it's not about me. I wasn't right. But that's not the. So maybe because I'm thinking of my son. I don't know. I don't.
Your son played against him this summer, right?
Yeah.
On the same court.
And so it's just. For this kid,
Nick,
man.
What would your son do to be a Division I basketball player?
Right. Maybe that's so. My son was a fringe. He had some people recruiting him going into a senior year of high school. He was a teenager. A couple bad choices, a couple bad games. All of a sudden, he's no longer recruited for Division I basketball. He's living 3,500 miles away from me in the desert, at a junior college, trying to get a shot.
Getting up at 5 in the morning for practice.
And so I know, and when CeCe said after the McDonald's thing, man, these are the things that turn you into the person you become. And I've had an amazing life. I've been so lucky. I didn't play college sports, but the happiest time of my life to this day was my 4 years at Syracuse. I know what Ohio State meant to Chris. I know what, like, young athletes, the camaraderie, the time away from your parents. My son came back for Thanksgiving for 3 days, and I walked around Times Square with him. And he was a man. Like, not a grown man, but in 3 months away from me and his mom, I saw what it did for him. For good or for bad. And I just feel so badly for these two boys. Like, LiAngelo, I hope he becomes a pro. He's probably not a pro. But guess what? He could have been the man. Not only a scholarship athlete, but a lot of money in his pocket, famous at UCLA. LiAngelo's a pretty boy with funny hair, driving a Lamborghini, LaMelo, pardon me, who is going to be was going to be a star college player. Don't take that from these boys, man. Like, for what? The Carnival Barker WWE stuff is fine when it's all make-believe. When it's all, I beat Michael Jordan one-on-one, I've never lost, all that stuff. But not when you're doing this to your kids, man.
You had no other choice, all right? The reason why, Lonzo's gone. Lonzo's being paid by the Lakers. So how do I make money? The only way I can make money, Nick, is insert myself in this story and make this a reality. And the only way that would validate my reality TV would be for me to make outrageous decisions. Because if the kids had gone to high school and played, he's not part of the story. If the kid had stayed in college, he ain't coaching them. Steve Alford's coaching them. So these decisions are not what's best for the kids. These are what's best economically for LeVar. So that's what this is. This is a money grab for him.
I'm 33 years old with a college degree. I am not prepared to go live in some random country in Europe. When he says, I don't care where it is. Well, you know who probably does?
Them.
The kids who got to play, learn a new language, LaMelo who's got to get some form of an education. Like,
Yeah. So listen,
Go ahead.
I agree with both of what you said. Experience is you can't put a price on it in your life. High school, college, with your friends, growing up, maturing. You're right. You know, and then the thing that sometimes gets lost in it is the education. And sometimes we forget that he's so talented. You can pull him out of high school and let him go play. Like maybe he needs to sit in a science class, or maybe he needs a math class. And you just hope that that doesn't get lost as his father drags him to wherever he wants to drag him to, so that he can fulfill a part of his life that he lost to watch through his kids. But raw honesty, which there's something about this chair. Whenever someone sits in this chair, I don't know what it is. Guess where I'll be not sitting for a long time. But no, thank you for sharing that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.